why was there the error? Now, to kind of check this as a pro, right? You just can go to any of the error, right, and look at it and read about it. Now, it says incorrect parameter count in the call to native function str to date, right? Now, that is talking about this part here. And look, we did not bring a comma here, right? So that could have been the reason. Now we brought a comma, right? Let's execute again, right? Just like this part, let's execute. And you see, we have it in full. So, which means that Ernest Barnes, the last time he kind of used our services, which like almost 10, over 10 years ago, that is that like over 3,809 days ago. So if we want to target him with marketing just to kind of get him coming back to use any of our hotels, then it'll be fine. It'll be so. It'll be a very good marketing decision. But remember, he's a bronze member. So if you want to go on to target bronze members, or you want to target like, well, maybe you want to convert bronze members to like, silver members or gold members who kind of use our services frequently. So it's all up to you. But that is for the frequency. Next, we're gonna look at the that is that for the reasons. Next, we're gonna look at the frequency. That is the number of times each person used our service and how we're gonna determine that using SQL. And after that, we're also gonna find the monetary value. Then we put all of them together to form one table. All right. So see you in the next video for the frequency. Yeah, so now we're back to the frequency, or the number of times they used our services or any of our hotels, whether like resort hotel or like city hotel. And so I'll just put here once again, I'll just comment out. So I'll just put frequency here, right? So we want to know the number of times they use our services. So let's go once again to select, right, the full name, right, just to know the person, the full name, the loyalty program status, loyalty program status. Then what again? We also want to know the hotel they slept or where they slept in, right? So let's say hotel name, right? Okay, then we're gonna count, but well, let me just pause on that. And we want that from the hotel data, right? Hotel um, from the hotel. Okay, the hotel data, right? Just like all the other ones. So we just want to count this and that from the hotel data, correct? So let me just close it for the meantime. So that is this. Let's execute to see. Yeah, so that is like just the name, the bronze membership, the hotel, and that's as usual. But we want something more. We want the count of the number of times they slept. So we're gonna count the number of booking date, right? That each person seem to have appeared in. So we just know they maybe slept in a hotel last month and also this month or like last 2 months, and so we just wouldn't know the number of times they slept in a hotel, any of our hotel, whether it's resort hotel, uh, or in city hotel, right? They might have also slept in any of our hotels. I mean, both our hotels, that's fine, but we just want to count of it, the number of times they've used our hotel services. So we just will go here and count, right? And what are we counting? We're counting the booking date, the booking date, the booking date, and we want to take that one as frequency, right? And we just have to bring a comma here. Yeah, okay. We want to count that one as frequency. And what do we want it to return? So we want it to group it by, so group by sorry, we want it group by, so group by, first of all, the full name. Okay. Then we want the loyalty program status is here, and also the hotel name. That's the hotel name, right? And now we can close it and execute to see what happens, right? We're just executing this part here, right? We execute, and there you go. So we have Ernest Barnes, who is a bronze member. He slept in a resort hotel only once in the year 2015. So that is how you get the frequency of like the number of times they have slept or they have used our hotel, any of our hotels, right? We can still go on ahead and, for instance, like group the hotel, like by type, right? And we would just have to create an alias, where we try to kind of like change the hotel, or we kind of select it based on the number of the type of hotel they've slept in. So we just have to use an alias. So resort hotel as resort hotel, and maybe city hotel as city hotel, and we'll just group that, and we could just put it here, hotel type or hotel type used. So or hotel name used. So that is just that for the frequency. It's pretty much like straightforward, pretty much simple in SQL, like a formula or knowledge to know. All right, great. So now we've also managed to complete the frequency. We're gonna go on to the next item that's like the monetary value. The monetary value. Okay, let me put it in caps like monetary value, right, of each customer. And to do that, we're gonna basically use the number of nights or the number of stays, that is days, they had in any of our hotels, right? And to do that, we also need a bit of like to build a case around it, or if it were to be in Excel, a kind of a if functions, right? We're just gonna have like nested ifs, to do that. So that's what we're gonna do here. And to do that, I'll just show you how it's going to look like, right? It's just going to be like this. We're just going to select the distinctive because we don't want anybody who has slept the hotel, I mean, whose name is repeating two times to also like appear two times. So we're just going to do distinctive selection, right? So we select the distinct, right, of who, I mean, which columns, the distinct of these ones here, the hotel name, the full name, then the loyalty program status, right? So the usual full name, the full name, the hotel name, and also the loyalty program status, right? And from there, well, we're gonna select all these things. Normally, I just want to go from where? From the hotel, right? Like data set. Okay, great. And we're just gonna close it. But remember, I normally kind of do it this way so that I know that it's pretty much something that needs to come in between them. So that's what we're working on. Now, we have the full name, the hotel name, and the loyalty program status. Remember, we said we're going to use the number of nights they've slept in our hotels. That's the count of number of nights they've slept in our hotel. So that is that. And we're going to multiply that by the two main hotels we have. We have the resort hotel and we have the city hotel. Now we need to create this, so I'll just put this one here in the comment. That so resort hotel, right? Cost, let's say, 120 a night to sleep in, right? Then we also have city hotel. Let's say a city hotel is in the city, so city hotel cost maybe pretty much more. So city hotel costs about, let's say, 150, or let's say 160. We could put anything at 170. sorry, $170 a night. So yeah, this is just to guide us, right? And now we want to build a case where we select resort hotel from the whole hotel name data set, and we equate that one, or we multiply that one by 120 for all the users or the customers who used our services. The same thing, we also select all the city hotel like bookings or users, and we multiply the number of nights they slept by 170. And to do that, we need to build a case. It's just like doing nested ifs in Excel, right? So we're gonna go on ahead and just move it a bit here. So when, well, let me just put a comma here because we're building a case. So when um, the hotel name, now look at it this way, right? We just need to bring the case first. So we're building the case. So case, and automatically this thing draws, and we start building the case from here. When the hotel name, right? Hotel name, yes, is equal to is equal to. Remember, we have resort hotel, right? So we call it, and we're gonna type a string, so we have to put it in this. It's resort hotel. Remember, resort hotel, right? Resort hotel. Then what? Let's close this one. Then we multiply the total stays, which is here, the total stays by the rate per night, right? Then we multiply the total stays. So now we get the total stays here, right? Should be multiplied, as you already know in SQL, by 120. So we just put like 120 there. Then we build the same thing for that. So when the hotel name, right, is equal to, or is city hotel, then what do we put there? We put the rate of 120 for the total night stays. I mean, so total, we multiply the total night stays, right? Total night stays by, once again, by $170 as we have indicated up there, right? Well, else, in case, there's anybody who kind of did not indicate, I mean, their hotel status or anything like that, what do we want to put there, right? So that is, it's like putting a try catch, or it's like putting, I mean, a try catch in like UiPath, or trying to be cautious in Excel. And so if these conditions are not met, just put O or zero there, right? So it's the same thing. So if not, then we just want to put anything there. So we just put, if not, then else, put, let's say, mm, not found, right? Not found. So we put that here. Then after this whole thing, what should come? We should end it, or we should create an alias like so, and as what we're actually looking for, monetary monetary value, right? So this is how you kind of build the um now let's kind of bring this one close. Yes, so this is all that we have kind of have here, and it's, as you can see, it's similar to this one here, right? We're going to execute soon for you to see. So just for you to see the whole thing, what we mean is that we want to select the distinctive name, the hotel name, the loyalty program status, And how do we want to select that? We want to select it in such a way that when the hotel name is equal to resort hotel, then we multiply the total night stays by the rate per night. Then, in the same way, if the hotel name is equal to city hotel, then the total stays or the total night stays should be multiplied by 170 bucks. Else, let's just put not found, or we didn't find the status of the person over there, right? I mean, the status of their booking overnight. Then we end up creating a new column that is called monetary value, which is what we're actually looking for. Then from the hotel data set, of course, from the hotel table we're working with. Now let's execute to see what happens. Okay, so there we go. Now we have the amount or the monetary value of each specific customer who used our services and 1,870 rows returned, right? So here, Ennis Barnes, who booked the resort hotel, is bronze member, of course, but he never showed up, so he never paid us. So you can see it like that clearly from here, right? So that is that. Now let's cross-check this. When you check, the reason why Ernest Bonds is bronze is because he booked, he has a special status. He also kind of like booked weekend stays, zero, weekdays stays, zero. So the total number of stays is zero. The same way, Andrea, the same thing, specialty status zero, booked weekend, yes, booked that and that, but never showed up to stay there. So that is clearly what you could also see from here. But aside that anyone who booked and showed up or didn't cancel actually has a value. Now we can decide to target them with advertisement, or we can choose to kind of ignore them because, oh, they're not so much. We can even go on ahead and define, for instance, a range. If they slept just one night, that is like 120, then we're just gonna ignore that. So we're just gonna use their where clause, where total night stays, is equal to 120, right? Or where total night stays is between 120 and let's say $1,000. So we can also use that one to get that. But so far, this has been it. It's been the recency, the frequency, and also the monetary value. In the next, we're gonna put all of them together. Now, what we want to do is kind of put all together so that the frequency also appears here, the recency also appears here, all in one table, right? So something that looks like this. I mean, from here. But there are two things involved here. There's one of the execution or one of the queries that's going to go without these monetary value here. It's rather going to go with the number of night stays. Why? Because it hasn't got this the cost per night or the rate per night, from the monetary value. So it's just straightforward. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But this one here has everything that is the monetary value based on the amount we charge per night for the hotel. So we just multiplied that one by the total night stays and we got this one. I'm going to show you here. So from the completed where you can see there are two answers here, or there are two queries here, final queries, and there's this one. So I'm talking about this one here. Let me just execute just this part. When I execute, you could see that the monetary value is still just kind of akin to the uh, number of the total stays, that is total number of night stays, right? It does not attach the monetary value based on the charges or the hotel rate per night. So this is one way you could put all together. Then there's another way that considers everything, right? This one here. This is the final one. Let me just execute the final one too. Just this one for you to see. I execute this one and it gives the total monetary value actually based on the charge or the rate per night. So that is the difference. So we're gonna kind of put the two together, or we're gonna work on the two, and you can learn from it, or you could pick a thing or two from how different they are, and also the quality of the data or the quality of the ICP you've configured here based on the monetary value or based on the total night stays. So we're gonna start with this one here. That's we're just gonna select the count of it, you know, and everything. Yeah. So let's go on to start from here. So I'll just put here once again, I'm just going to comment it out. So final uh, project or final ICP A. So I'm just going to turn it into an A, or just like term it as A, uh, no, just as A, so that we could come back to it. Okay, so once again, we're going to just select, right, and we're going to select, let me check number of, okay, so the full name, the loyalty program status, these are kind of basic. So the full name, and also loyalty program status. All right. Then from here, we're gonna add number one. Let me see. Okay, so that is the frequency. Then we go to the monetary value. Then we go to the that is the residency. So we started with the um, frequency. That is the count of booking as frequency. So the count of booking date. So we just go there and see. Let me just put some space here and say like count the count of, yes. So the count of the booking date, right? So the booking date, and we're gonna count it as frequency. So let me just put this in caps as frequency. We're just kind of putting everything together, as I said. Then we go on to the next one, which is um, the the total stays, right? And we're gonna use that as the monetary value. Once I said this one earlier, we're just gonna go straight forward to this one, and we're gonna see the differences between the two queries and also the outcome. So we're just gonna sum the total stays as monetary value, right? So we just go ahead and sum, right? We could just use this one here. So sum the total stays, right? Okay, let me just make them uniform. So total stays, total stays, and we're counting this one as, or we're summing this one as what the monetary value. So let me put caps monetary value. Then we go on to the other part that is like the using the date to count that. So we're using the date here. That is the dated if, and also the maximum that, and that, and that. And we're going to use that one as recency, right? Okay. But as usual, we're going to go to the date if. Let me put it in small letters. So date if, that's the date differences, sorry. So the date differences, right? The date difference, and we're going to look at the count of the current date. That's current date, right? And when we count the current date, we have to put like these like parentheses so that it counts the current date. Then we're gonna look at the maximum, uh, the maximum of what, the maximum of the converted. We're just kind of repeating this one here, right? So the maximum count of the uh, s, that is the string converted to normal date. So like the string converted to normal date. So string underscore converted to normal date, right? And we're gonna have this one here, and we're getting that one from the booking date, right? And from the booking date, we need to have a format, and the format is uh, that is the day. So we just want an exact match of the day. So uh, that is the day. Then we bring a kind of like forward slash. Then we bring the month. So exact count of month. So that's the M. Then we bring that again. Then exact count of the year, right? And we close it. Then once again, we have to bring more um parentheses because we've opened more than three of that, right? And we want to count it as, don't worry, we're going to debug it after the whole thing or when there is any problem. So then we're going to count this one as uh, caps lock monetary value, right? So money, sorry, recency, right? And we selecting this one, all of this from, or of this from the hotel data, hotel data, right? Okay, now let's close this one. But we have to group it by something, right? So we have to group it. Let's go into group it. Oh, maybe we could just keep it on the same line. Group by, the full name, the full name, the loyalty program. Oops, the loyalty program status. Loyalty program status. Yes. So this is basically it. But of course, we need to debug, like make some corrections here and there. Yes. So we kind of executed and there was an error. So let's like execute again and see the error. Okay. So there's an error. It says you have an error in SQL syntax. So check the use of, so the dated if here. So this is where there's a problem. So booking date, blah, blah, blah. So let's just go back and check that line. And that is this line. But we can quickly see that there is a problem here, right? After the monetary value, we did not put a comma, right? Because we're still continuing like writing the query, the code. So this, now let's execute again. Okay, so this one, it worked this time. So that was the problem. We fixed the bug, and that was it. So this is the first one, or this is like the way we can execute, and we'll have like the frequency, monetary value, and also the recency, right? All corrected, but we still have something to do with the monetary value here, right? Because remember, we kind of added it differently from here. You can see that we had a different formula where we got the real value based on the hotel prices or the rate of charge. So we just had a situation where we had multiplied these ones here, right, by the total night stays, that is by the charge per night or the rate per night based on whether it was a resort hotel or a city hotel. So we're just gonna write another one that will kind of polish it up, then we can export the table. All right, so now we're going to execute the final part, or like the final answer to the whole like exercise. So it's pretty much the same as I indicated. It's just going to be the same thing, but we're going to have a kind of the case around the sum, right? So let's go on. I think we just need a bit of space here, so I'll kind of reduce the width here, and also maybe uh, this side so that we can have a bit of space here, right? And we can also enlarge in this a bit, right? So we're going to start again. We're going to select um, once again. Let me separate this a bit. Yeah, we're going to select the full name, the loyalty program status, multi-program status, and we're gonna go back to the same thing, almost like, and count the booking as, booking data as that. So we could just copy and paste, but you could also like have the count here. And so we're gonna count the booking date, right? As in this case, we're just gonna keep it in caps locks, like caps as well. So as frequency. Now we're gonna go on to this one. This is where it gets exciting. So it's basically the same case. We're building it under the sum, right? So we go to the sum, right? I mean, let's keep it in, like, yeah, the sum. And this time we open a whole like case about it. So we go to the sum and we open the parentheses here and we have sum the case, right? Now we're creating the case. So we go into when we're basically kind of typing the same thing, right? So when hotel name equals resort, once again we're typing string, so we just have to put it that resort hotel. Then what? Then we put total stays, right? Total stays as like multiplied by 120 bucks. Now we go on to the next one. When the hotel name, once again, the hotel name is equal to, we type in string, so city hotel. Once again, so we close it. Then the total stays, the total stays, right, is also multiplied by 170 bucks. That's what we kind of chose it to be. Then what else? So else put, oh, if not, then the whole thing can end, like end in, um, back to like the monetary value here. So back to monetary, right? And as, let me put it in small letter. And as then caps monetary value. Okay. And all of this one from the hotel data, but we're not done yet. So we kind of have to leave it like this. Now we go on to the next one, right? Which is in this case, so we're done with this one pretty quickly. Let's kind of put some space here, right? So let's put some space here. Well, so because we put a space and the comma, this error goes away. Now let's go on to the next one. That is the date difference that is selecting that one as the recency. So we go to work on the recency and we go back once again. So that is, we just start with the dated if because it's still referring to these tables we select. I mean this uh, columns we selected here already. So we start again and put in the date difference, right? Then we put the current date once again, the current date. Oh, we should be doing more small. Okay, so the current date, right? And once there's a current date, it should refer from the computer. Then, so current date, then the maximum, and also we open a new bracket because I mean a new bracket or parenthesis because we are referring to um, the string being converted to date format, and we're looking at something from the booking, right? The booking date, the booking date, and we would like it to also be changed to a different format, right? So we like the whole thing to be changed to this format that we're gonna suggest. And once we type in the format, we just need to have that, and we want an exact match of the day, then forward slash, then we want an exact match of the month, right? Then slash, then we want an exact match of the year as well, and we have uh, that, and we close it. Okay, and we also add parentheses because we've opened three. Then we want to count this one as recency. Okay, right, and all of this from, if we go back to the select line, so all of this from the hotel uh, data table, and it should be counted as, right. I mean, it should be grouped by, sorry. So group by the hotel name, I mean the full name. So these are the tables we want returned. I mean the columns we want returned: name, loyalty program, okay, loyalty program, status, right? And I guess that should be that. But of course we have to debug, like make sure that everything we've typed makes sense. All right, so we kind of executed and got an error. That is, so let's execute again and see. So we executed and still got an error. Now let's see. It says that you have, so okay, so it's a code. The error code is 1064. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Okay, so normally when it's like code 1064, it indicates that it's an error with the syntax and not, anything else. So we have to just go back and check, run through it and see if there is anything. Okay, so this is one. There doesn't seem to be any problem with it. There is also the sum here. So let's check this part here because there's an error, a red error here. So let's check. All right, I think it's with this one here. So like this is the sum. It's in bracket, right? We put it in parentheses, but we want to select it as, right? I'll just turn this one to caps so that it matches with the rest. So like as, but we have the parenthesis here. The parenthesis should rather be here because that is where it ends, right? So this is where the argument ends. I mean, this is where the case ends, and we want to select that one as the monetary value, right? So that was that. Now let's run it again to see. So we're just running from here to that place, and so let's run again. All right, great, it worked this time. So that was the error. That was what the error was about. So now we have that. Well, this one looks shorter because it looked shorter because I kind of put everything together on like this one where I separated it, like the data if part or doing the recency part. I kind of separated it so it looks pretty much taller or longer, right? But I just decided to kind of put everything together here in this one. So that is that for how you define. So this is the table we can export. We can click here and export to Excel, and we can call this one. I mean, we can save it as like an Excel spreadsheet so that we could do other things with if we want, or we could also export it as CSV file as we want. But like we just don't want to do that now, so we leave it like that. So this is the whole thing. Now look at the difference between this one here when we execute, right, which is this one as against the A or the final ICPA. The final ICPA here, right? So let's just execute from here to here, or this part to that. When we execute, we get this without the monetary value in, that is hotel, like per night, that is the charge per night. But when we execute this one, that is the final part B, we have the monetary value in real money terms, just coming. That's based on the number of night they've slept. So that is the difference between the two. And I'm glad that you kind of got to see how you can define an ideal customer profile. Now we can even go on further and kind of separate the loyalty program status into silver, into gold, into bronze, into premium. And there are a couple of them. For instance, gold membership, right? They used more number of nights, or they slept a lot in a hotel. So we can decide to target them, and we can also target like silver members. We can target gold members, but there should be a reason if you're targeting them. For instance, we can even choose to bring the number of whether they had like deposit or not, because we just assume that when they pay deposit or they give deposit before they check in, it might be better customer, or it shows that they are really good customers. They have enough to spend. So we can use that as even part of the ICP definition. But in this case, we're using the frequency, monetary value, and recency, like the recency in days. So once again, this data set was from 2015. If we just want to use something that's more current in like 2025, it will kind of reduce this number of days to, like something really small, and we're able to determine whether it was just 1 month ago, 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, and we can target them with advertisement, or we can say these are our customers that are valuable, or these are the people who really use our services, and they are really kind of worth pursuing with marketing campaigns and everything. So that's how you define an ICP using like my SQL Workbench. Keep on practicing, and if you don't understand anything, just go back to look at what we did together. The data is part of the video, in the link down there. You could just check, look at it, and get better at doing business intelligence, and designing, for instance, loyalty program. I'll try and also do some representation in Power BI, or some analysis in Power BI, because remember, we used Excel, we represented it on Tableau, we did a bit of SQL query here, and the final part will be just using Power BI, also on similar data set, and also to analyze and come out with the best. Thanks for watching.